Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Mitch from We in Tennessee. In today's video, it's going to be about a place that my students, we went on a field trip and it was amazing. Here in Tennessee, we have the Tuckaleechee Caverns and the place was just so cool. I don't think I've ever been in a cave like that before. And so I was psyched. I'm like, let's go, let's do this. And so let me go ahead and tell you about the Tuckaleechee Caverns. What's really cool about it, and the guides are so knowledgeable, and as we were going through the caves, they were just busting out, pieces of information here and there, and I was like, just taking it all in like a sponge. And so the coolest part that I thought was that the caverns were first discovered by two 6-year-olds. I'm like, what are you talking about? Why are two 6-year-olds like discovering caverns? My 6-year-olds were like, in the house, not going outside. It's just crazy. But back in the 1930s, I guess families were like, get out of here, go play, go do your thing. And so they were exploring. I believe they were like pretending to be like, Huck Finn or something like that. Anyway, they discovered the caverns. It was, let me get their names right, Bill Vananda and Harry Myers, 6-year-olds. And what's crazy to think about it is the caverns are so huge. To think that my 6-year-old was going in here and how, dark it was. They had kerosene like bottles. They would just like, that would be the only light they had. I guess they lit it almost like a Molotov cocktail. And they were like discovering these caverns, and it was so amazing. And so as we were exploring these caves, well, not exploring, the guide was taking us along, we ran into the big room, and this thing is so cool. And that's hard too, because the guide said your perception of how big something is just limited because you're down underground. But you could fit a football stadium in this big room. And what was so cool, well, if you're bringing small kids, you have to be aware of this, is they will turn off all the lights and you will experience total darkness. And what was crazy is they tell you to put your hand in front of your face and you cannot see anything. And it just gave me the sense like, whoa, when have we ever experienced zero darkness? I guess if you go inside your closet and there's no light at all. But anyway, it was so dark, and you have to be careful with the kids because, if you're not careful, they will freak out. So I had to just give my kids a heads up, like, hey, this will happen. Come by me and, hold my hand, just, whatever to make them feel better. And then the next part that I thought was really cool was the biggest underground waterfall or cave waterfall, 210 feet. It was a double waterfall. There was an upper part and a lower part. I was just amazed. Just being down there in a cave and seeing, underground rivers down there. It was just so cool. Next point, it's always 58 degrees. And the guide said, no matter what, it's just always going to be 58 degrees. And so if you're going to visit there, just, I guess, dress for 58 degrees. There were cases because you're walking upstairs that it did get a little hot, but to be 58 degrees all the time, I thought that was pretty cool too. If you're wondering, it is very not wheelchair accessible. You're going downstairs. There's only one way in and one way out. And so if you're in a wheelchair, it's just not going to happen. Even if you're walking, it's tough. Certain places, the ground is uneven. So you just have to watch your step. It's always going to be wet or slick just because, again, you're underground. So be careful of that. The next thing is um, in the Tuckaleechee Caverns is the most precise seismic readings that you can take. In fact, there are people from the University of Tennessee and the United States government has these seismic readers down below because they can detect, I read, it can detect waves crashing 500 miles away. There's an article connecting it to North Korea. They can detect whether nuclear tests have been taking place. And so what's really cool is we were able to see some of those seismic readings where, in the lobby, you can actually see the readings. Down below in the caverns, you can see the boxes and cables all connecting. It was cool. So if you're wondering about visiting the place, adults are $22, per adult. Let me make sure I get this right. If you're 5 to 11, it's $10. If you're 4 and under, it's free. And it was just an amazing time. I went with my students, and I'd love to take my family back there. $22, you're just gonna have to navigate that. It actually was cheaper. I think it was 18, but inflation, it went up to 22. So there are your prices. A really cool place to check out, though, you guys. Just to be able to explore the caverns. There was also a cool rock formation that looked like a bear, and so when the light hits it, it's called Tuck. My kids liked that part. They were like, "Yeah, I like the bear." There's a shadow of a bear on the wall. Lots of cool, stalactites, stalagmites. It was just a really cool experience to see caverns that I never got to see in California. And another cool fact, Tennessee has over 10,000 known caves. I never knew that. Come on, are you serious? And so I don't know, Tennessee instead of the volunteer state, the cave state? I don't know. So it was really cool, guys. If you get a chance, take a look at the Tuckaleechee Caverns. It's in the city of Townsend. What was really cool about Townsend, that it actually is Townsend. And I was like, interesting. And then the guy told us that it used to actually be called, the city of Townsend used to be called, Tuckaleechee. And then they changed it to Townsend. So that whole area used to be called Tuckaleechee. And so I believe it is Cherokee for Peaceful Valley. And it was a very peaceful day, other than having, 21 second graders following me. But it was awesome, okay? So thank you guys so much for watching. If you get a chance, check it out. I'll leave you the link to their website in the description. It was cool. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in my next video.